Welcome to Spoiler Alert, where we talk about and spoil the shows we're obsessed with. This week, we're going to recap Betty's big return to Mad Men. We're going to preview Uma Thurman's arrival on Smash and how she's going to shake things up.
Does that mean I'm supposed to like it?
We've got some Gossip Girl gossip, and should we be concerned about New Girl's ratings woes?
No!
Welcome, Mr. Mitovich. Thank you for joining us.
So glad you had me over this week.
New Girl, this week it hit a new low in the ratings.
Yeah.
How concerned should we be about it? I don't feel like the quality of the show has changed that much.
This is a show that premiered to 10 million viewers and a 4.8 in the demo, and now it's doing like, barely half of that. I'm worried that it hasn't had a strong enough lead in the past couple weeks.
But aren't all ratings down because of daylight savings time?
I think the daylight savings effect has it's subsided some. But still, and I'm confident that Fox will renew New Girl. It's such a critical darling and everything.
It was one of this season's breakout hits, and now I don't know, with these kind of numbers, if it really can be considered that.
And the thing is that when numbers go down, people tend to start piling on the show and picking at it, And I'll admit, like this past week, there was a scene where I was about to scream because it was just so manic for the purpose of being manic.
All right, everybody stop!
But the show is also finding some sweeter moments. They found a great storyline for the Nick character, and they're doing some great stuff with Schmidt and Cece, so.
Yeah, I mean, I still love the show. I don't see any drop-off in quality whatsoever. Speaking of quality, Mad Men, episode 2, I very much enjoyed the episode. I was happy to see Betty back.
Yeah.
And she's not pregnant, she's just fat.
She's back in a big way.
It's a woman's thing.
At first, it took me a minute to realize, is she wearing a fat suit, or is that just her own real-life pregnancy weight? And obviously, she was wearing prosthetics on her neck.
Right, and apparently she didn't gain that much pregnancy weight in real life, which makes the storyline a little bit more conspicuous. It's like Matt Weiner kind of locked into this, once he heard of the pregnancy.
Matt Weiner is someone, I think, who you wouldn't think would be impacted by outside events, but clearly that has happened here. I can't imagine he envisioned having
if January Jones does not get pregnant, this storyline does not happen. Let's face it.
But the fact is, it did happen, and I kind of like the storyline. I think it's a realistic storyline. I think it's something Housewives face, right? January Jones gets a little bit of a bad rap. I was happy to see her back on the show. I really like Betty.
And it's bringing out kind of a creepiness in her new husband.
Yeah,
that phone call at the end when Don called the house and he totally concealed it from her.
Well, see, my takeaway from that was that Don's still in love with her, and maybe that's where this season is headed.
I'm enjoying the whole Roger-Pete rivalry. They're doing some fun stuff with that.
Very fun.
How Pete's just always getting the upper hand on it, and it's just pissing Roger off week after week.
Speaking of pissing people off, Ellis has not been killed off of Smash yet.
Ellis is full of surprises.
That's cheeky.
What did you think of this week's episode? Definitely better than the last week's, which was, I felt like the worst Smash episode
Well,
ever.
the scene they did downstairs in Times Square at night with the gals drunk and singing, that was just a lot of fun.
Totally fun.
They need to do a scene like that like every other week just to keep this thing light and fun and give us a cover tune. And but this coming week is when Uma Thurman arrives on the scene as movie star Rebecca Duvall.
Okay.
And that obviously raises the question, what's that going to mean for Marilyn the Musical, which is now, I guess, being called Bombshell?
What does it mean for Marilyn the Musical, Matt?
What it means is Rebecca Duvall will be the star, but she's going to need an understudy. Who's going to be the understudy?
Ivy.
Wrong, because I heard that there's a scene coming up where Rebecca Duvall takes Karen out to a club at night. They become like besties, they're hanging out. Karen is going to be her understudy. And while they're at the club, of course, there's going to be singing. Karen's going to get up on stage and sing a cover of Run, which has been done by Snow Patrol and I think originally by Leona Lewis.
Does Ellis die in that scene?
Ellis does not die in that scene. He might be in it.
I can't imagine he's coming back for season 2.
He's a pot star.
I could come up with something.
Let's break here for a second and enter Spoiler Alert Theater again. We have 2 Shakespearean-trained actors, one who's going to look very familiar to Spoiler Alert viewers, reenacting a classic cliffhanger-y scene from Lost.
Lost.
Yeah.
L-O-S-T.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Hey.
Hey,
Saw you in the news. Still pulling people out of burning wreckage, huh?
old habits.
You look terrible.
Thanks.
Why did you call me, Jack?
I was hoping that you heard that maybe you'd go to the funeral.
Why would I go to the funeral?
Been flying a lot.
What?
Yeah, Golden Pass that they gave us. I've been using it. Every Friday night I fly from LA to Tokyo or Singapore, Sydney. Then I get off, have a drink. Then I fly home.
Why?
Because I wanted to crash, Kate. I don't care about anybody else on board. Every little bump we hit or turbulence, I actually close my eyes and I pray that I can get back.
This is not gonna change.
No, I'm sick of lying. We made a mistake.
I have to go. He's gonna be wondering where I am.
We weren't supposed to leave.
Yes, we were. Goodbye, Jack.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!
Wow.
That warms my little jade heart.
That was one of my favorite cliffhangers, all joking aside, of all time.
He lost the beard, though.
He did lose the beard. That, of course, Michael Urie and Rachel Dratch, former SNL member and author. She's got a book out this week called Girl Walks Into a Bar. I want to give a shout out to that, a comic memoir. Haven't read it yet, but I'm hearing good things.
Sounds like it's along the lines of Tina Fey's Bossy Pants.
I think so. So real quick before we go, some Gossip Girl scoop. I don't know if you heard, but Bart Bass was spotted on the set
Oh.
recently. And of course, Bart's dead. So what's Bart doing on the set? So I asked Josh Safran, the showrunner, about that, and he says that, you know, perhaps he's playing a ghost. Who knows? He was kind of cryptic about it. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen a dead Bart reappear. So that's interesting. And also something I teased and asked Ausiello about Dan and Blair coming up. Dan is going to make a big sacrifice in the name of love for Blair. Professionally speaking, he's going to get a big opportunity to do something this summer, and he's going to strongly consider passing on it to spend the summer with Blair.
I wonder if that's the right choice.
I wonder too.
Sounds like a big opportunity.
It is a big opportunity, and she may drop him for Chuck anyway.
The things we do for love.
Matt, thank you so much for dropping by.
This was fun.
We're going to make some small talk while the credits roll.
Okay. Never drink. Never bring a drink.